You are about to see mutilated corpses, burning tank carcasses, and all out mayhem, brought to you by Frontline Fatalities.
What's up, COH fans and YouTube? It's time for another Frontline Fatalities episode, and this time it is another very, very special Expert Insight episode. And joining us this week in the chair, we have one of the few people, one of the few experts to have ever won both a 1v1 and a 2v2 tournament. He is on top of his game right now. He is on top of the fucking COH world right now. It's Mr. Symbiosis. What's up, man?
Yeah, guys, what's up?
It's awesome to have you on here. I think we're going to be in for a really cool game. What are we actually going to be seeing game-wise today, Fatal?
Today we will be seeing Symbiosis play against KoreanArmy, another very well-known name that everybody out there in the COH world knows about, and they're going to be playing on Wrecked Train, which is just so much more interesting, I think, than seeing maybe, you know, the pros playing on Longre, because, you know, I think when it comes to Wrecked Train, there are certain strategies that work and some that don't work, but there's a lot of wiggle room, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
There is indeed, but it is often seen as the hardest US map to play against Wehrmacht, and we have Symbiosis, of course. He's not going to be showing us how to spam for the fatherland with a med bunker on Wreck Train. He is going to be showing us how the pros play US on this extremely tricky US map, and hopefully we get to see some awesome strategies and stuff. So, well, I think we all better get into it if we're all synced up to the 5-second mark.
I am ready to
Yep,
start episode 30. Nice round number of Frontline Fatalities here with Symbiosis and Expert Insight. Count me in, Tommy.
Alright, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So Symbiosis, you're in order match, and you see that you're getting Wreck Train, and it's your US, and he's Wehrmacht, you know, it's KoreanArmy. What's going through your mind?
Well, the first thing you realize is that you're, already behind because of the map. It's quite a Wehrmacht favorite. So, you have to come up with something to surprise them, to deal with it. And since there's a lot of cover on the map, I'd always like to get fast grenades just to win the cover engagements. And I hope you can pull off a good flank and push him back in the early game.
Well, that's interesting because this map is, it's quite difficult to flank on really because you tend to get those sort of 2 MGs just sort of sitting there in the middle, cutting you off, you know, because you got sort of 2 main approaches and 2 MGs, and it just feels like ultra lockdown. I mean, is that what the fast nades are for?
Well, those strat points are killing you. I mean, if you can set up an MG at each strat point, your fuel income will just be really low. And you try to hit him before he can set up with going fast nades.
So this isn't a map where you can stall out for time then, this is a map where you really got to go for the jugular early.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's correct.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see what you do here with a fast nade strategy. Looks like you're going for a fairly sort of standard capping order, not going too aggressively. Where should you send the first rifle on Wreck Train? Because you see some people send it over to the right as you're doing, some people send it over to the left for the munitions.
Pretty much for the side you want to secure your fuel. I mean, you have to go for either the left or the right cutoff, and well, if you go for the right cutoff, you get 10 plus fuel, so that's always good.
I saw you did a little bit of a cap walking there as well, from the 5 munitions onto the strategic point on the right-hand side on the bridge there. That was very nice. I always enjoy seeing cap walking. You can just see the one lone rifleman guy just sprinting away. And it's like,
so
where are you
split up.
going? Where's he going? Why is he running away? And it's like, oh, he's cap walking, obviously.
You can actually also use it quite effectively for scouting. I mean, it's just not limited to capping points faster, but you can also just send like one man forward and check out if there's a folk squad or something, and that way you can get more info.
Oh, very interesting. I've actually never really seen it used for scouting. Not a lot. I think I've witnessed it maybe once or twice, but it's pretty funny to hear you say that. That's very interesting, actually. I see KoreanArmy went for double Volk opening. Tommy, what is he got up next?
Well, the MG is following up next, and that just popped out of the Wehrmacht quarters. So a Volk MG opening, fairly standard Wehrmacht build order.
You also traded builder attacks. The right-hand side was won with Pio versus Engineer for Korean, and you just won the Engineer engagement versus a Pio on the left-hand side. He was forced off with the Pios where your rifles went over there, of course, but you know, it's pretty even so far, I must say. So you're gonna go for fast grenades, which means 3 rifles nades, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so MG is setting up as well on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, excuse me, and you're trying to use the cover there with the busted container.
Yeah, you can hide it behind it. It's just enough cover.
So this looks like you're shaping up for quite a nice flank here. You got your flamer and your 2 rifles here into the middle, but he's got his MG and both Volks, and your 3rd rifle is nowhere to be seen. He's all the way over there on the right. So is this? Are you still going to commit to an attack here?
Oh yes, because his MG is moving and his Volks are kind of out of position. So as you can see, I can just move my rifle and throw a nade at his MG.
That's going to be a nice nade. Oh
Yeah.
my!
Oh wow!
I mean, often you just have to wait for your 3rd rifle because there isn't always this opportunity.
Instant steal of the MG as well, very, very nice. And even with the bike coming out, you're almost gonna be able to kill that if you just focus fire. I think you're trying to chase it with the flamers now. Ah, the bike is just getting away with a sliver of health.
And we saw the MG actually went down on retreat there, so nobody gets an MG. Although I guess nobody having an MG is probably preferable to the Wehrmacht having an MG.
Yep. Quite a lot.
The second MG out now as well is gonna force Symbiosis off the field here with the remaining rifle squad that was harassing them with the Volks. But I think, you know, with still an MG, even though if you didn't get to keep it, still a very early win. And is that something that you really think is necessary for Wreck Train against Wehrmacht? You gotta get the early engagement, and you really gotta make it pay off somehow.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you got a triage as a follow-up to the grenades. Why have you opted to go for the triage in this instance instead of going straight for supply or bars, for instance?
Well, for some reason, if you play fast nades, you often end up with a situation where you got loads of wounded squads. So yeah, well, triage is generally the best way to go. I mean, it will be a waste of manpower not to get it if you got that much wounded squads.
Yeah, I mean, we saw your flamer engineer was down to 40% health or so, which is practically worth just getting the triage just for that almost.
Yeah.
Because he's so valuable here. So you're seeing a lot of mines going down from KoreanArmy. There's a nice nade on the mine. Very cute move.
So basically you spotted the Pios planting that mine, and now you're going in for another assault with the rifleman squad on the right-hand side, combined with a second rifleman squad now moving into the center here, just harassing everybody. But I guess you're, you know, even with 2 rifles, with the sniper on the field from KoreanArmy now as well, you're fairly outgunned, so you gotta do a passive retreat or a soft retreat. Oh, another mine goes off. Lots of mines from KoreanArmy. So what are you thinking? So basically, is it an instant answer to mines that you get a sweeper on your second engineer, or do you want to go double flamers on Wreck Train? Do you need extra firepower?
I always get a sweeper, even if I haven't seen him late any mines. I mean, against good players, you can just tell they're going mines. That means they're getting some.
So even if you've not hit a mine so far, you'd always get a sweeper. That's interesting because I've seen high-level US players, and we've had some on Expert Insight. I think it might have been Seb who's of the opinion that it's not worth to get minesweepers as US simply because the flamers are more useful to you. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I mean, he was for quite a long time in this corner, so even if you haven't seen him lay any mines, you can just predict he's laying a mine because the engineers just were there for quite a long time.
And now we've seen defensive chosen here, so this is really just sort of salt into the already gaping wound that Wreck Train is. I mean, defensive on Wreck Train is just gonna be just a really, really tough nut to crack. Does seeing defensive, what does that make you do? Does it make you change your mind on any kind of tech decisions, or is it just business as usual?
Defensive, no, really. It's just you have to be more careful with flanking. The sniper was like a bigger mind changer. Because now you have to make the decision like, am I going to get a WSC to get a counter sniper with taking the risk that he goes tier 3, or do I go the safe road and get an M8 first?
And it looks like you are opting to get the supply yard. Does that mean you are going to be heading for the M8, or you're just going to get the supply yard and then WSC?
It's just getting the supply yard. I mean, with my current manpower income, it's really useful. So I can just get the supply yard, wait a bit longer, see what he's doing, and if I see any tier 2 units, I can get a WSC.
Okay, so getting the supply yard early is just like sort of a bit of insurance, meaning that you're a bit closer to actually being able to get that M8 should you need it.
Yeah. Well, I just cancelled it, yeah. I don't know if you were watching my base, but I just cancelled my motor pool and got a WSC.
Ah, interesting. So you've heard or seen tier 2 units?
I assume I just figured out that my early game was good enough to deny him enough fuel, so he couldn't really go tier 3.
Yeah, I don't think KoreanArmy has been able to have the +10 fuel at all so far this game. He's had the cutoff, but he hasn't actually had the fuel.
Exactly. So snipers kind of were a safe choice, I thought, at that point.
So this is going to be going up against KoreanArmy's force of a Volk MG sniper, quite a normal, fairly short tier 1, and he has gone tier 2. He's actually gone for a pack, so as first out of the tier 2. So that's actually going to work really well for you, isn't it? Because, I mean, he's kind of misjudged your taking decision.
Yeah, I mean, he just invested like almost 300 manpower. Any unit he doesn't really need at the moment.
So by and large, right now, are you feeling confident, or are you still slightly wary of the fact that it is Wreck Train and he really doesn't need a whole lot of territory in order to really bleed you hard?
Well, so far so good. I mean, if this is quite a nice split for a US at Wreck Train, so if you can contain him in this little pockets beneath the 5+ fuel, you're doing good.
Yeah, I noticed you sort of got your rifles spread out all over the place to try and contain him like that. And actually, you're kind of preventing him from getting too many kills on his own sniper as well. And there's a nice mine, taking out the bike as well. That's a nice little win.
Yeah, I went a WSC, but I did lay quite some mines in case he would have got tier 3 anyways.
So your safeguard to him going, if he would have gone for Pumas tier 3, your safeguard would be mines to buy you enough time so that you can probably get a counter out, a proper counter to the Pumas in that case.
If you can get like the first Puma, if you can destroy his engine, it will be out for like 1-2 minutes before it's repaired. And that gives you at least enough time to get stickies and maybe even 18 time.
Oh,
nice
the
engagement here.
Misses.
Oh my god.
The counter snipe missed. That was unfortunate.
Nice grenade on the MG. The second MG from Korean takes one casualty only with 40 Fatherland though.
The Axis sniper does go down, and now you're going to retreat because you can see the half-tracks coming in, and you got no real mines to protect you, so that's probably a sensible retreat. And meanwhile, you've been able to actually decap that cutoff there on the right, so you are keeping him quite nicely penned in here. which is quite impressive. You know, just considering the map and the fact that he's just gone defensive. I mean, the only thing he's really missing to really rub it in is a med bunker.
Yeah, exactly. You should get one though.
Yeah, it's pretty damn effective on this map.
Yeah, especially if he's going defensively. It's just really useful to be able to reinforce on the field.
He's actually gone down the other routes for the advanced sight lines, which is interesting. You can see he's got this massive line of sight around his points. He just doesn't have that many points, so he doesn't have that much line of sight.
Motor pool is up in Symbiosis' base and an M8 is building. Was that, you know, you were just generally ticking, or was it an answer to, you know, maybe have something to counter harass the Wehrmacht half-track with?
If you would like really counter the half-track, getting stickies is often enough.
Yeah, that's what I generally see when we cast games, me and Tommy on Frontline Fatalities, that people go stickies when they see a half-track. That's basically their answer to half-tracks.
But that's often if they want to get tanky power, not motor pool. Then it's a good idea to get stickies, so you can kind of fill up the gap between no AT and the tank.
So that's interesting actually. So you would normally get stickies. So in this instance, you're not going stickies because you've got the M8 to follow up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on any other map, I would have gotten a tanky power in this situation. But since you can, I mean, I'm currently cut off of any fuel at the moment, partly because of the map. So going tank depot would be really risky to get 90 fuel for streaming. I mean, if I wouldn't get it, I'd be dead.
KoreanArmy is trying to push your sniper around with his half-track. He's trying to find it, but he just
He hasn't actually found it yet. He
No.
might find it here though. He's gonna decloak it here, surely.
No, he skirts by it, he doesn't
that's
get it.
lucky.
And now he's gonna hit a mine when he actually tries to drive out of there, and the M8 is gonna be able to polish this destroyed engine off very, very easily. Pyos just book it instantly. They jump out of the half-track and books it back to base. Nice win there for you, Symbiosis.
I bet you were grinning like a fool after seeing that half-track go down. But now the pack is out and dealing some pretty decent damage to you now. And also, KoreanArmy, meanwhile, while you retreated, he's actually taken back a fair bit of territory. And really, he's only had to take a couple of points to really take back a lot of map dominance. And now you've gone bars, so you must be pretty confident by this point that he's not going to be facing you with another vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, I just hoped it would be. He wouldn't do so. I mean,
because he has the fuel for it. He has 150 fuel, so he could have got himself a Puma, but he actually opted to rebuild the half track, which is an interesting move. Although actually, it's probably quite nice if he's just seen you go bars, especially if you don't have stickies yet.
Yeah, but I mean, you always need bars eventually just to deal enough damage against the infantry and get some veterancy. And as long as you got the M8, I mean, you can even soft counter a Puma. So bars after your M8 is always like quite a safe choice.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Seeing a bit of infantry veterancy as well, so those bars are really going to come in handy, especially if he starts getting Vet 2 Grens or something like that. You're going to need them.
Yep.
You're gonna need something to fight off his approaching vet upgrades on his infantry. Vet 1 is popped for his Volks and Grens now, infantry veterancy for KoreanArmy. But at the same time, oh, you just chose an armor, I see.
Yeah.
How come? Any specific choice? Do you just feel like he was trying to build up, you know, a static front line as Wehrmacht players can you really do with MGs and maybe bunkers and for the fatherland? Are you gonna go for? You've unlocked the Allied War Machine as well.
Well, I mean, if you there's kind of the situation where you can go infantry and get off map to rush him and drop off map on the MG, and so your flank will succeed. Or if you had a good early game, good mid game, you can hold off long enough till you get Calliopes, and once you get a Calliope, that's really strong units. I mean, it's my favorite unit, to be honest, to get in late games. It's just so strong. But
Yeah,
the
we've
problem,
seen you using them in 2v2s to great effect.
yeah. But the problem is to get at the point where you can actually call it in and still have some territory.
You're still doing very good at harassment. Do you think that's really the name of the game on maps like Wreck Train, where they're so big and the Wehrmacht player wants to create a stronghold somewhere, you know, very centered on the map maybe, or on one side or the other, and then try not to move that much away from there? So it's basically just keep capping the entire game just to disrupt his little doom fort, so he has to move his units around.
He indeed seems to do so. Just, well, stick around at the middle with all his units. So it's not that hard. You just cap around it and try to get as much points as you can.
So this isn't just Right Train, this is just a general sort of anti-campy Wehr play style to just sort of, you know, go around and cap around him. So you're not really, because we noticed that you're not actually attacking him. We see this in quite a lot of your replays. You play quite patiently,
really
quite passionately.
Yeah, exactly. It's really conservative, but it often turns out great for me. Not
Yeah,
always,
no,
but
I mean, of course. I mean, you've won all these 1v1 tournaments, 2v2 tournaments, and I mean,
well,
it
this is
works.
just something for 1v1, I think, not for 2v2. In 2v2, there are just too much units to really do something like this.
Yeah, but here you're doing a really good job of, yeah, I mean, you're just sort of capping around, not really making any big sweeping flanks. Do you think that the age of making sort of massive bar flanks where you come in from sort of 5 directions at once, do you think that age has kind of gone with the metagame?
No, but in this situation with, I mean, if you would put off a big flank right now, it would just pop for the fatherland and probably held it off. And now I got a mortar and a sniper and can just sit back, harass, deal some damage, and actually slowly wait till I got Kalios.
So basically all you're doing now is just buying time, so you can get your doctrine unlocks that you need. And then basically just shell him from there when you can get Calliope and just bombard his little stronghold.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
So one thing that I always ask on Expert Insight, I think I asked both Sid and Aimstrong, do you ever get game fatigue? Do you get tired from playing? You know, if the match extends for more than 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, do you eventually get tired?
Not from like one game, but yeah, if you're playing like a best of 5, you eventually do get tired, but at the same time you also can get in this flow, I would call it.
You get in the zone.
Yeah, I mean, you just continue playing and you keep sharp, keep focused, and you can pull it off.
Nice bit of raid action here with the M8 on the right. If you keep on getting pinned down by MGs, just send an M8 to do the job. And actually, we saw that's something weird. I didn't realize that actually. Vet 2 snipers, are they literally undetectable for hard tracks? I've never seen that before. I was expecting it to detect the sniper.
Not only for half tracks, but also for Pumas. American Veterancy Level 2 gives some kind of camo buff, so both half tracks and Pumas can't detect him anymore.
That's very, very cool.
And I never knew that.
That's very, very cool. You know, I think it's overlooked due to the fact that Vet 3 makes your snipers run in cloak. So, you know,
exactly.
No one cares about the Vet 2. Everybody wants to get to that, you know, the precious Vet 3 sniper. So you can run around cloaked and just harass everything. But we got a nice flank here with M8. Basically, you're trying just to skirt away from the pack, or you're trying to support your ball rifles coming in from the rear?
Well, I was so close to the pack that the safest way away, to flee away from the pack, was actually to drive past it.
And now you've seen for the fatherland popped, and you're soft pedaling away from him. So again, is this you just deciding, okay, I don't want to attack into for the fatherland, I'll just pull back?
Yep. I mean, you can just wait, and once for the fatherland is over, you can move in again.
It's very, very patient gameplay. I think I would probably be the most crappy player ever trying to pull off your strategies and just, you know, biding my time. Because when I got a you know, you got a nice flank or an MG somewhere, you're coming in from behind. I just want to fulfill my attack, you know? That's basically all always happens when I play Vico, which happens basically never, but when I used to play Vico, I was always committed to all my attacks. So you think it's better to, you know, especially with the defensive players, like that has bunkers maybe and for the fatherland, popped, etc. It's just better not to even engage, just wait for it to run out and then maybe try it again.
Just pick the fight you can win and then move in.
Very cool. That is very, very good advice, I must say.
It's interesting because when I've been speaking to Aimstrong, he's told me that the player that he fears the most to play are players like you and Siberian, who, unlike a lot of players, aren't afraid to wait. You know, they will back away if they don't think they can make it, because, you know, in every one of your attacks virtually, you've managed to conserve an awful lot of manpower. Oh, there's a snipe though. That was nasty. But you managed to conserve an awful lot of manpower by not committing to any big sort of sweeping attacks for the fatherland, and just totally committing everything, getting everything suppressed. It's really very, very a different style of play, really, from I think what we're used to. From sort of the vast majority of players, you know, like we watch, like I think a couple of episodes ago, we had a game with commentator Nagano. He's very much a sort of a big sweeping commit your bars kind of flanking guy, which works nicely when it works, but sometimes he just ends up losing a shit ton of manpower because he's committing to these really suicidal attacks.
Yeah, I mean at that point you can just lose the game, and with playing more passively, your games will generally be longer, since you're not going for the all-in flank. But I mean, I kind of like my late game SUS with Calliopes and snipers and stuff, and I think it's really strong. So I'm not really scared of late game from the Wehrmacht.
And it's interesting that you don't seem to be basing your strategy around trying deliberately in any sort of concerted effort to get a load of rifle veterancy. You see some players build their entire build is just about getting loads of rifle vet. Like KoreanArmy when he plays US is about rifle mine spam, quick nades and stuff like that. Yeah. But you don't have that much veterancy right now, yet you've managed to do so well. Is that a pretty...
That's also the problem with playing more passively. I mean, with those big flanks, if they succeed, you really get a lot of veterancy. And now the veterancy will be mainly on your support units like mortars, snipers, M8, and not really on your rivals. And that can be a problem, but, well...
Yeah, I mean, when you're facing sort of Vet 2 infantry, Vet 2 Grens and stuff, do you find that does become more of an issue? Because you're not really able to stand up infantry to infantry. You have to bring in the use of those, you know, M8s and snipers and so on.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do have the manpower to field those units, and the rifles are basically just like a meat shield to protect your units that are actually dealing the damage.
That's a really interesting style of play, actually. One that we haven't really seen on here very often, or at least one that we haven't really noticed. I mean, we've casted games of you before, where we've seen this kind of play style, and it's a really good way to play US in the current metagame. I think, you know, especially a metagame that revolves so heavily around big kill units like snipers and stews and stuff like that.
But there are still games where I kind of go like 4 rifles, direct bars, try and go for the all-in flank with off-map on the MG. It also depends a bit on the map and on the player, of course.
So do you tend to go more aggressively on the smaller maps, or is it just some specific maps? Does it matter the map size and the flanking opportunities? And you know, some maps are Wehrmacht favored, so to speak, like Wreck Train, for example. Do you like going more conservatively on maps like that?
Well, I do think every map has its own best strategy. Like Semois is a really good map to play fast nades as well, but I'd never play fast nades in Anglophils just because there's not enough cover for the enemy to hide, and does make your grenades effective. But also on a map like Argentine Crossroads, I think that map is just excellent for early bar flanking.
Early bar flanking on Argentine is an interesting way to look at it, because Also, I just had to comment. Your 57 is sniping the fuck out of these Vet 2 Grens, and I don't know why. I just watched it snipe like 2 Vet 2 Grens in a row. If that happened to me, I'd be so fucking angry. But Argentine, I've seen some weird stuff on that map actually, because I've seen like a 2 rifle, 2 mortar strategy and stuff like that, because you can just sit behind the hedge and just shell the crap out of people. It's I'm looking forward to seeing it actually in future tournaments and SNF and stuff like that, because it's going to be interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Flamer
it's-
going in for the sniper. He is crossing the
playing
road
a
and
risky
cloaking.
game there.
Yeah, very, very risky with 1-man Flamer squad. But he does get out of dodge, and as the sniper was pedaling away, he didn't take the shot on retreat. So I guess the Flamer lives another day.
So Sim, are you planning at this point in this kind of a game? You've gone for motor pool. If you go for motor pool, are you then planning to follow up eventually with Tank Depot, or to take advantage of Allied War Machine and stuff like that, or are you just gonna pump out snipers and Calliopes and stuff like that?
Well, I just saw the stock, so especially since I'm armor, I think it's a good choice to get Tank Depot. Just get like 1 or 2 Shermans or intent and rush in, use Allied War Machine and try and kill the tanks.
And that's the kind of strategy that we've seen a lot in your 2v2s as well. I read your guide on WS play, and the late game was always 2 Shermans, upgun them, Allied War Machine.
Allied War Machine is just really strong. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the most powerful ability in the game, essentially. If you can
Yeah, it
use it
offers
well.
a way to deal with late Wehrmacht veterancy, which other doctrines don't really offer.
Now, this could be potentially dangerous. Stargan and Volt closing in on a fairly low health ATG. No other AT to be found.
Oh, I think he's gonna chase the Calliope. Oh yeah, he is. He does take out the crew on the 57. He did take 1 shot on the
Steals
Calliope.
57.
Oh, he steals it.
That's actually the best thing for him to do, because there won't be enough time for him to kill it, and if he leaves it there, I'll just recruit and kill his stock.
Yeah, I think it was Seb who mentioned it to us, that if he ever gets the choice to recrew or destroy, he would always take recrew, just because it's another unit in your army, and it's a unit that your opponent doesn't have. So,
And it's free, technically,
Yeah.
except for a little bit of manpower for reinforcing your squad, whoever takes it, a Volk or a rifle squad, for example. But apart from that, it's free. There's just free weaponry.
this Calliope is making its presence known, even if it's not getting that many kills. Only 1 kill so far. It's forcing big retreats every time. And the more that sniper spends retreating and back in the base, I guess the better for you.
I'm really trying to use my Calliope as a counter sniper at the moment, just so I know I can use my sniper without fear anymore. Again.
Yeah, and that's important, obviously, because you're facing these Vet 2 Grens. And now it looks like KoreanArmy is going to be heading to a bit of Stug spam play, because he's got these 2 Stugs, he's got Vet 1 on them both, so they're going to be reasonably strong against 57s, stuff like that. So I think a Tank Depot, if you do build it, could be quite nice against that.
Yeah. But only if you are armor. I think if your opponent is spamming Stugs and you don't have American War Machine, AT guns are generally better. Because, well, I mean, if you're going to fight a Stuck with a Sherman at long range, the Stuck will win most of the time. And an AT gun can easily penetrate a Stuck, while the Sherman has to flank the Stuck.
That's true, yeah.
And especially if the Wehrmacht player has gone tier 1, 2, and 3, he'll have a pack creeping around somewhere. So going for the circle strafe on a Stug or 2, especially with maybe a Shrek and a pack, it's just no go. There's no way you're gonna succeed with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just gonna waste a lot of time, basically.
More Calliope fire into the middle. Whoa, that sniper's in danger. Oh, down it goes.
No!
That rocket looping in. It was a homing rocket.
Very, very nice. Can you give me a
I
quick
can
time
see
sig, Tommy?
Yeah, 31, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54.
Yep, I'm with you again.
5.
Yeah, me too.
Had a second of lag there.
Yeah.
happens sometimes. So, do you play this as well, like very conservatively with the Wehrmacht, or do you play completely different with them?
Say what? What was the question?
Do you play very conservatively when you play Wehrmacht as well? You take it very easy and soft retreat away from bar flanks and whatever and don't play that aggressively, or do everybody knows what you did to Siberian in one of the finals on one of the tournaments where you went for a super early, what was it? Long rip-in.
MG bike.
Yeah.
MG
No, with Wehrmacht I generally like to play really aggressive. Especially on a map like Longwood.
Really aggressive with like specifically MG bike play, or just like aggressive play in general?
Most of the time MG bike play, but yeah, in general.
Because we see a lot of high-level players do that actually. I know DevM loves sort of MG bike openings, and Seb loved MG bike openings. Contador was all about the MG bike openings. A lot of top players historically have always been about those really aggressive pins, going really quickly, which is really different to what we see when we cast it with Aimstrong, who plays a very conservative Wehrmacht. Yeah. He's retreating against everything that he can't win, and he never goes for the pin. I've never seen him go for any kind of defensive-based for the Fatherland pin or anything like that. That's just not his style. So it's interesting. Wehrmacht I think does allow for more flexibility in terms of playstyle.
Yeah, but with playing really aggressive as Wehrmacht, you can also actually counter a playstyle like mine, which I'm currently playing. I'm just like scooping around the edges and stuff, not really committing to a big flank, but the Wehrmacht player can just say, okay, I'm gonna pack everything up, move to this point really far forward, build a defensive bunker, and try and get your cutoffs from over there. And you eventually are forced to pull off a flank right then, because otherwise you'll just lose all your resource income.
Yeah, that's interesting. Although I suppose once if the Wehrmacht player is being in that aggressive, if you place your units correctly, then you're in quite a good position to attack him if he's overextending. So I guess it kind of works both ways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you've been playing very passively for the entire game and he decides to do that mid-game somewhere, and as we have been speaking about, most of your veterancy comes on your support units, for example. So your rifles won't have any veterancy, maybe, etc., and your flank won't be successful. What do you do then? Do you just throw in the towel or smash your keyboard into your table, or how do you overcome that if you try to play too conservatively and your opponent plays very aggressively and goes for a cutoff move?
You often just lose, but
oh, but that's bad.
No, you can always try and with playing really conservatively, you do have quite some manpower, and you just try and get your support units out anyway, and try to slowly gain some territory back.
3 Stugs now from KoreanArmy. He's really going for the Stug Armada.
He's really pumping them out now, and he's now got a Puma queued up. So obviously he's had enough of your rifles skirting around the edge of the map. He's just like, okay, fuck this shit. Yeah,
Stugs can't really handle that.
You should get veterans too there, I think, instead of a Puma. With veterancy too, Stugs are also really effective against infantry. So.
Oh yeah, those top gunners, they are beastly.
Yeah.
They're better on Stugs than on P4s or Panthers or any of the other tanks. Stugs and Geschützwagens just have crazy top gunners.
Yeah. So if you get the veterancy, all your 3 Stugs will benefit from it, and you don't really need the Puma anymore.
Nevertheless, we do have the Puma out now. It's going to add to KoreanArmy's growing army, consisting of several Vet2 Grens, Mortar, Sniper, Pack, Puma, and then the triple Stug Armada.
Oh, KoreanArmy just missed a counter-snipe opportunity with Sniper in the middle. On the middle right there. He took a shot on one of the Grenadiers, and his Sniper is standing right there. But I think He was microing the Puma out of his base, trying to force off the rifles on the left-hand side, which he almost managed to polish off here. He's trying to pursue the last man, but he's not gonna get him.
Well, he cleared that pack pretty efficiently with a KoreanArmy.
Yeah, the three latest...
It's like, nope.
The three latest barrages on his little stronghold around the medic bunker there has been very successful. They've decrewed the stolen 57, the pack, the mortar. You know, he's wasting a lot of manpower recrewing those weapons over and over again.
Yeah. Calliops are just really effective, especially against support weapons, because they're like they're stationary. They're all clung up around med bunkers, so it's the ideal target for your Calliope to fire at.
Oh, there's a nice counter snipe. There's a very nice counter snipe. Although it looks like the Stugs are moving in now into your double AT guns.
Combined with a Nebel barrage that decrews well, but then Puma comes in and polish off the second AT gun as well. Your Calliope is completely unprotected now. You got stickies, but that's basically it. But he doesn't seem content on pursuing it. Maybe here comes the Stugs.
Oh, check this out.
Right
check
into
this out.
Symbiosis'
M26
base.
is on the field.
Oh! Might be the
This is
savior.
perfect timing. Oh, and the Stugs are getting all caught up as well.
Oh! Wow, that was a nice shot.
Pershing's just got like the sickest penetration bonuses against Stugs. It's just ridiculous. They can just, I mean, they can take up like 40%, even if they hit at the frontal armor. It's just sick.
And now suddenly, I mean, I was going to say, you were pretty seriously on the back foot there. You know, 3 Stugs storming in, both AT guns decrewed. But now it's like, you know, hello, Pershing's here, everyone else get the fuck out.
Oh, wow!
Stug, AT gun, Puma, everything goes down in a matter of seconds. KoreanArmy's army has just shrunk.
Field repairs popped as well to help your Pershing along a little bit. Combined with some bar rifle forces off the remaining AT forces of KoreanArmy, which is a Shrekren, which is just not enough against a Pershing. So you're feeling pretty confident after killing his whole armada now, or you're still, you know, on your toes now, or you're just going in for the kill now?
No, I mean, you realize at this point he doesn't really have anything left, so you just want to capture the map as soon as possible.
Now, we talked a little bit about earlier how your conservative playstyle doesn't really give you that much rifle there, but actually looking around, you got this Vet 2 rifle over here on the left. You've got a Vet 1 rifle in the base with 12 kills, another Vet 2 rifle in the base. So I guess that the Vet does eventually come in. You're not totally devoid of Vet or anything like that. It's just not coming in as quickly as it might otherwise do.
Yeah, it's exactly. It just comes later.
And I mean, you had great unit preservation this game. I mean, I don't think you didn't lose a single rifle. I don't think the whole game. And I mean, shit, I don't even think you lost a fucking engineer the whole game.
Yeah, I believe so.
No, I think the only thing is you've lost are weapon crews obviously the MG in the beginning that you stole from KoreanArmy, some AT guns. I think you lost your mortar and a sniper or two as well. But, you know, all your rifles, all your engineers, and your Calliope is still alive.
Engineers after 40 minutes. That's quite a feat.
Yeah. Those engineers are pretty squishy.
You really don't see that very often, especially on a map like this. You know, the retreat paths are savage. You run straight down negative cover, long passageways. It's horrible.
It's why if you're flanking with all your stuff, and your engineers should kind of be at the point closest to your base. So, I mean, rifles can deal with something at the retreat path, but if your engineer's retreat path is fucked up, yeah, they'll most likely die.
So, engineers should always be flanking from the sort of the least obtuse angle.
Yeah.
They should, okay. And now it looks like it's all beginning to fall like a house of cards here for KoreanArmy. He's losing territory all over the spot. And he's facing these Vet 2 rifles now, which are really chewing him up from this cover. Another Vet 2 rifle there. You've got an entire army of Vet 2 rifles. Supported by this 20-kill sniper as well. I think the other sniper was Vet 2 as well, with somewhere around 20 kills. So the sniper was a huge help, especially with the early counter sniper.
Yeah.
Wow, Calliope goes in on the stronghold from Korean armies around his medic bunker again, decrews the stolen 57 over and over again, and Korean army actually throws in the towel after losing that. I can see on the map here he's got some Volks, he's got some Grens, but he lost a lot of stuff. He lost a lot. He's got 3 Grens left, that's it. And a Volk
yeah, he's
squad.
got 3 Grens and a Volk and the single Stug.
Yeah, no AT.
Border, I guess, but
Except
yeah,
for
all the AT guns are just decrewed. I guess that Calliope really paid off. I mean, you know, in this kind of instance, I guess it was so much more useful to have armor, to hold out for the armor, rather than go for infantry. But do you think, Sim, if the early game hadn't gone quite as well, if he dodged all your grenades, for example, do you think you would have been forced to go infantry to get the artillery earlier?
Yeah, I mean, if your early game kind of fails, you probably won't make it till the point where Calliope can really come in. So unless you pull off a good flank to come back, you're screwed. And the best way to pull off a good flank is to just drop off map on the MG and also to retreat. Yeah.
So I know DevM likes to play a lot like that. He likes to play with the very big aggressive flanks supported by sort of artillery coming down everywhere. But I guess it's a really unique playstyle, and it was awesome to have you on here to come and explain that to us. I think it's gonna be really, really interesting for our viewers to look at that kind of play, and really interesting for me as well. I think I'm gonna have to go away and practice my US game a little bit more with these tips in mind.
Yeah, I think it's very far away from, standard US play, which, as we mentioned before, take Nogano, which is very good at doing, 3-4 pronged attack, flanks, bar, popping in the middle of engagements, etc., etc., etc. Very aggressive playstyle, and it's usually what you see in most games. Not all games, obviously, but most games you see an aggressive US player and, a Wehrmacht player defending himself. That's basically what happens. But here you're basically, turning the tables around, and as you said, the proper counter is to turn the tables again. So if you go very defensively and play very conservatively, your opponent needs to be more aggressive. If he just sits back and you just cap around him, he's basically lost, because you're just conserving all your manpower and all your resources while you're capping the whole map from him.
True.
Well, it was great to have you on here, Symbiosis, multiple tournament winner, COH expert. It was absolutely fantastic, and really, really, really awesome to have you. And I hope you guys at home enjoyed this episode of Expert Insight. This is our 3rd episode. Don't forget to go and check out our previous episodes. We've had Aimstrong on to give us his Wehrmacht insight versus Brits on Angoville, and we had Seb on to give some US insight into US play on Longres. I think that was episode 17. And the Aimstrong game was, I think, episode 26. So go and check those out.
They'll all be in the annotations here, as you can see on the video right now. Probably there's the outro playing, so there's all clickable annotations if you missed any of the previous Expert Insights episode, or if you missed the 2 previous episodes, you can click on the two picture-in-picture screens on the screen right now.
And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and good night.
Good night.